The Lost Island in a Bottle. One sunny afternoon, 8-year-old Max was digging around his grandma's attic, searching for adventure. He loved that attic. It was like a treasure trove of forgotten things, dusty old books, broken toys, and weird hats. But this time, he found something different. Something shiny. It was a glass bottle, but not just any bottle. Inside was a tiny island, with palm trees, a sandy beach, and even little clouds floating above. Max shook the bottle, but the island stayed put. He tilted it. Nope, still there. Then, as he looked closer, he noticed something strange. Wait a second. The palm trees are moving, he whispered to himself. Before he could blink, the bottle's cork popped off, and a gust of wind whooshed out. Max felt himself being sucked into the bottle. Everything went swirly, like a roller coaster in a blender. Bam! Max landed face first on soft sand. He stood up, spitting out a mouthful of beach. Am I inside the bottle? Max looked around in awe. It was the same island he saw through the glass, but now it was life-sized. The palm trees swayed in the breeze, the ocean sparkled, and there were tiny crabs waving at him. Hi there, crabbies, he said. Any idea how to get out of here? The crabs shook their claws. Typical. Suddenly, there was a loud thud behind him. Max turned around and gasped. A gigantic parrot, with feathers all the colors of the rainbow, was staring right at him. You're new here, aren't you? The parrot squawked. Yeah, Max said. Do you know how to get back? To? Well, the real world. Real world? The parrot cackled. This is the real world now, kid. Welcome to the Lost Island in a Bottle. Once you're in, you can't get out. Max's heart sank. What? I can't stay here. My mom's going to be so mad if I don't make it home for dinner. The parrot fluffed its feathers. Relax, relax. I'm just messing with you. Of course, there's a way out. But it's not easy. You'll have to complete the 3 ridiculous challenges. Ridiculous? Max raised an eyebrow. Ridiculously fun, the parrot said with a wink. First challenge, dance with the coconuts. Before Max could ask what that meant, coconuts started falling from the trees and rolling toward him. The coconuts had tiny legs and arms, and they started dancing, twisting, spinning, and doing the moonwalk. Okay, this is weird, Max said, but he jumped in and started dancing too. He wiggled, he jiggled, and even did the robot. The coconuts cheered and gave him a high five with their tiny arms. Challenge 1 complete, squawked the parrot. Next up, defeat the Bubblegum Monster. Suddenly, the ground shook. A huge pink creature, made entirely of bubblegum, appeared out of nowhere, blowing a giant bubble. You've got to pop that bubble before it gets too big, yelled the parrot. Max ran toward the Bubblegum Monster, but every step was sticky and slow. He finally grabbed a stick lying on the ground and poked the bubble. It stretched, and pop! Bubblegum flew everywhere, covering Max from head to toe. Challenge 2 complete, the parrot announced. Now for the final challenge, make the crankiest fish on the island laugh. A grumpy-looking fish with a big frown flopped out of the ocean and stared at Max. It looked like it hadn't laughed in 100 years. Max scratched his head. How do you make a fish laugh? Knock, knock, Max said, hoping it might work. The fish blinked. Nothing. Okay. What do you get when you cross a fish with a musical instrument? A bass guitar. Max wiggled his eyebrows, waiting for a reaction. The fish stared at him, its frown growing deeper. Max was getting desperate. He did a silly dance, made funny faces, and even tried pretending to swim like a fish. But still, nothing. Then, in a last-ditch effort, Max grabbed 2 seashells and put them on his head like goofy ears. He started hopping around, pretending to be a sea bunny. Suddenly, the fish let out a gurgling noise. Was it laughing? Yes. The cranky fish was laughing so hard, it rolled back into the water with a splash. Challenge 3 complete, shouted the parrot, flapping its wings. You did it, Max. You're free to go. A gust of wind appeared out of nowhere and lifted Max into the air. He spun around like a leaf in a tornado and whoosh, he was back in his grandma's attic, the bottle still in his hands. Max blinked and looked around. Everything seemed normal. He quickly put the cork back on the bottle and set it down. Okay, Max said, catching his breath. No more playing with weird bottles. Just then, the bottle shook a little, and Max could have sworn he heard a tiny laugh from inside. Maybe. One more time, he grinned.